Morning everyone. Today I want to talk to you about why happy people are 31% more productive than unhappy people. So it is Monday motivation, so it's where I talk about productivity, hopefully kick-starting your week ahead. To bear with me a second, I'm coming head to head on with a tractor here, so hopefully I can squeeze past this fella without getting taken out. There we go, managed to scale past that. But this is a big one. This is something that I've bought into a huge amount over the last year, and it's made a huge difference to me as a person, to me in my business world, and it's a key driver to what the Rumpreneur vlog is about. It's about positivity, it's about being happy, and what I've learned over the course of time is that you can kind of push yourself into more of a positive mindset, and you can transition from a negative mindset to a positive mindset with training, perseverance, making routines, focusing on habits. And I'll talk to you through my kind of process for doing this in just a second, but let's just go back to the big alarming statistic. Well, it's not an alarming statistic, it's an eye-opening statistic, I think is probably more appropriate. Happy people are 31% more productive than unhappy people. That's nearly a third of, that's a huge, monumental increase in productivity just based on your state of mind, which just goes to show the power of the mind. But let me just repeat that one more time. Happy people are 31% more productive than unhappy people, and there's science and studies to back this up. It's not something that's just been plucked out of thin air. So if this vlog episode gets you to do one thing, just think about how much more productivity you get in your life just by being happier. Easier said than done, granted, right? Because everybody has ups and downs throughout their day, ups and downs throughout their life, ups and downs throughout their business. But it's a few little hints and tips you can kind of do, which can push you more towards the path of happiness, which is really important. And I didn't realise this. Well, I kind of always knew in the back of my mind, but I only realised it kind of more, how much of an impact I can have on my state of mind over the past year. And I think it all stemmed from that Tony Robbins documentary. I can't remember what it's called, I Am Not Your Guru or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but it was ages ago. I watched this, good year or 18 months, maybe even more ago. And the key point I took from that documentary was opposing forces, and that for every given situation there is a positive force and a negative force, and we as human beings can choose to focus on either or when talking about the same thing. It's the glass is half full or is the glass half empty mentality. And I'll be the first to admit, I used to be a glass is half empty type of guy, whereas I think I've managed to transition myself now to a glass is half full, but it's taken a while to do that, and I think that's been a main reason for why I'm far more productive now than I've ever been. And but what he said was, and there were some extreme examples. I mean, I think the most extreme was this suicidal woman who travelled a long way to see Tony Robbins, and all right, it was a documentary, it could have been spruced up or exaggerated for TV, but it didn't appear to be. It was, I just need to run through some horse manure in barefoot running shoes. That would not have been pretty. But anyway, I digress. I mean, this is an extreme example. So she was suicidal. I believe it, because I think to be able to act something that so convincingly would be unbelievable. So for the sake of this discussion, it was real in my eyes. And this was somebody who had a history of abuse growing up, so much so that she'd been raped multiple times, which is absolutely horrendous. And she got to a stage where her self-esteem, her confidence, she didn't even know who she was as a person, so much so that she wanted to end her life. And you know, if you watch the documentary, you make your own opinion, but it extremely convincing that was a true reflection of her circumstances. And Tony Robbins, just going through his opposing forces model and talking about the two options she's got, about she can go the negative route and end her life, or she can go the positive route and actually make a difference to other women out there who are too shy to speak up and who are going through the same stuff that she's been through but haven't had the courage that she's had to come forward and scream and ask for help. And he managed to turn that person's views around, so much so that she left there with a new inspiration. She's gone on to set up some foundation to kind of help women in similar circumstances. She was an Eastern European, so I think she was focusing on people from Eastern Europe, and she now has created a foundation, and she's helped hundreds and thousands of other women who have experienced rape and how they overcome that to get back on, you know, their journey rather than being so affected by something so traumatic in their life. And that was when it opened the doors. Like, how can he manage to get somebody who had such an extreme, you know, negative power on their life? How did he get them to transition into that positive phase? And that's where I really kind of started taking this stuff a bit more seriously, because I was always somebody who would look at mindset stuff and say, oh yeah, that's a bit fluffy, you know, I can deal with that myself anyway. But it's only through understanding it a bit more to understand the true power of it. And the stat on this topic highlights that. So how can you can't start making this journey from a positive, a negative mindset to a positive? Well, first and foremost, we are warriors. Most of us will worry about stuff for the sake of worrying. And yes, ups and downs happen in each and every one of our lives. However, there are certain things that you can control. If you can control it, worry is probably not the right term, but if you can control it, think about it. Put a solution, put a plan, because you can control the outcome. So that's very, very different. If you can't control it, and we're worrying about things like the coronavirus and stuff like that, there's absolutely no point getting stressed and worried about it. You just need to be ready and try and prepare for what could happen. But it's a very different, it's a proactive approach, rather than going, oh no, what am I going to do? Rather than, right, this could happen, here's my plan. And it's a very, very different way of looking at things. So point number one would be, only worry about things, or only think about things worries. I'll use the word worry for the sake of this example, but only worry about things you can control. If you can't control it, don't worry about it. Plan for it. Very, very different. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing is what happens to people when something negative happens. And we're all human. I'm exactly the same in this regard. You get a bad day, or something goes wrong, or a deal falls out of bed, you know, and instantly it's like, ooh, you kind of sink into this state of depression. And there's a couple of things you can do here. One, you can kind of like comfort eat or comfort drink. You know, a lot of people will kind of go down that route, or do things that will trigger kind of negative emotions. You know, eat too much, you feel swelling, you feel sick. If you drink too much, it's a depressant, alcohol, so it can kind of push you into that zone. Or you can kind of deal with that in a different way. Go out for a run, or go and have a walk around outside, get some fresh air. You know, things that are positive endorphins. And wow, it's sunny back this way. So do something. The way you handle it can have a completely different outcome. You look, right, if I went and had a shed load of alcohol, for example, or a binge ate a load of junk food, I'd feel pretty rough and grim. And if I'm sitting there at, like, say we're on a continuum, naught is, you know, bang on, you know, this is where we are most of the time, you know, 0 to 100 positive, a 0 to 100 negative on a continuum of how your state of mind is. Something goes wrong, instantly you drop to maybe minus 20, so you're 20 on the negative scale. If I ate junk food and binge watched TV, drank, I'd probably exaggerate that minus 20 to minus 60, minus 70, and think of the journey I've got to go through to get back to 0 before I can move into a world of positivity. I'm minus 20, but I decided, you know what, I've had enough, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to blow off some steam. I could then pull myself back around to kind of positive 10. It's just the impact of what you do makes a difference on your mindset. So start thinking about things you can do to reinforce positive emotions. There's lots of them. I can't remember all of them, but there's certain situations are talking to people can make a big difference. Exercise makes a massive difference. Eating something healthy or doing something like fitness exercise or something can make a big difference. Sex is another one. It's a bit of the elephant in the room, but it promotes positive endorphins, and all these things trigger. There's 5 of them. I'll dig them up because I did some reading on this, and I'll do a vlog episode separate. But I've covered the main ones there. Kind of talking to people, who understand, so you kind of get that release. Exercise, sex is another one. Your lifestyle changes is another one. There's 5. I can't remember them exactly, but like I say, I'll dig them out and I'll do a separate episode because they are super important. So that's really, really important to how you can trigger that. The next one is little routines. I didn't used to journal. I did used to journal, sorry, but I stopped because I found I was getting nothing from it. But I was journaling incorrectly. And what I mean by that, I was treating it more like a diary. Now that has its place for people who want to kind of log their thoughts and things, but I journal now mainly to track things. And what I do is I log everything in my daily log every day, something positive in my life. Okay? I thank myself. I'm gracious or show gratitude for 3 things in my life. They're the same things pretty much every day. The 3 things I'm grateful for is my amazing family, my amazing family's health, and the opportunities I've been given to create a lasting legacy. They're the 3 things and the reason they're quite broad is because the legacy stuff isn't just about making money for my children and that side of things, it's my fundraising and charity activities as well. So it all kind of sits in together, but it's heavily geared around my family because that's the most important thing to me in the whole world. So by being grateful for things, it instantly gives you a lift. And then the other one I do is I log at least one positive thing that's happened every day. Sometimes it's a big win and it's like, yes. Other times it's something pretty menial, like, I don't know, read a cool chapter of my son's book with him at bedtime, something like that. I log family time I spend, so I'm ensuring that I'm prioritising spending time with my family and stuff like this. And all these things reinforce positivity, and it just G's you up. And it's these little habits that I do every day that make a massive difference to your mindset and push you forward. Positivity. And the 4th one, is the blog. The blog is, I talked about the different things that can reinforce your levels of happiness, and talking to others is one of them. I don't necessarily talk to one person. I vlog about my experiences, about the ups and downs, what's going well, what's not going well. And apologies if you might not think this is not, a lot of people tune in to see stuff go wrong. And, kid you not, there's loads of things that go wrong in my businesses every day. And although I touch on them, I try not to touch on them too much unless I really need to dissect them on the blog, because, I'm always conscious of my mindset. If I talk about negative things for too long, it reinforces negative energy. Whereas if I focus on the positive things and the things that I'm doing to change it, so you might hear my vlog and think, oh, everything's going really well. But in actual fact, the stuff I'm talking about is the solutions to the problems. But because I'm talking about the solutions, it's to come across in a positive way. So you can see, again, the difference between how you can approach things from a positive and negative. So that's pretty much it from today. To summarise, I think I covered 4 main areas of how you can transition from a negative to a positive mindset. Number 1, understand the opposing forces. Every situation has a negative and a positive. Focus on the positives is number one. Number two, don't worry about things you can't control. Plan for them, absolutely. Worry about things you can control and make a difference on those. Things you can't control, don't worry, just be ready and be prepared. Number three, if you have something negative that happens, how do you deal with that? Focus on the changes that you can make in terms of how you respond to something negative. You know, you could drink, you could comfort eat, which is a negative stance, or you could get out and go for a run, or go and do some exercise, or go and talk to somebody who understands these, you know, as a shoulder to cry on type of counselling type of approach. These are all things that are positive moves, and it makes a massive difference to how you deal with things. And the final one is be solutions focused. So what do most people do when something goes wrong? Oh, they talk about the negative all the time. Oh, that's gone wrong, that's gone wrong, that's gone wrong. Don't do that. Understand the negative, absolutely. Then talk about nothing but the solution to that problem. Very different way of approaching it. You get the same, you're talking about the same thing, just in a very different way. Except the solution-based approach fixes it, whereas the negative worry approach doesn't. So, hope that's been useful. As always, if you've got any questions, drop me a comment, I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll still respond, but I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. If this is irrelevant to you, no worries. I think I've got a car coming past me. This is irrelevant to you, absolutely no drama. Just unfollow me and it'll stop cluttering up your social feeds. But before you go, do check out and subscribe to the Runpreneur YouTube channel, where all the feature-length versions of these vlog episodes are catalogued nice and neatly by playlist. So hopefully at some point in the future you'll be able to tap in and use it as an ad hoc resource. Just going past some people, so bear with me a second. Morning. Also check out the Facebook Runpreneur community, where I will start to host all of the free resources of the vlog. And again, there's no sale or anything here, it's just free stuff which hopefully can help you. Because as always, the Runpreneur vlog was set up to help entrepreneurs, small business owners, you know, overcome stress, anxiety, overwhelm by using exercise as a mechanism to control, manage and thrive under these emotions that every single entrepreneur and business owner is experiencing. The difference between the ones that succeed and the ones that fail are how they manage these emotions. The ones that do it well thrive and succeed. The ones that don't do so well, pressure builds up, and then something breaks. And it's usually either the entrepreneur or the business, either which can be terminal to the success of your business moving forward. So I've been there, done that, lost businesses because of this stuff. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be rock bottom, which is why I was so passionate about starting this vlog. And I've always said, if this vlog just helps one business, it's 1,000,000% worthwhile. So my pledge to you guys, if you feel that you're one of these entrepreneurs that are struggling with these emotions and have nobody to talk to about this stuff, drop me a message. There's no sale, no nothing. I'll jump on a call with you. I'll try and give you a few hints and tips and steps to get you back onto the path of managing these emotions and back on focusing on your success journey. So that's it for me today. As always, stay positive, stay happy, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye.